because I do 1,300 crunches and sit-ups 4 times a week.
What's a dose? Can you translate for us?
Winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Ernie Els.
All right, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, shankers and ringers, welcome back to the Go Track, the podcast about golf and golf-adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. It is Teabag here. I've got an awesome lineup today, joined by, firstly, our in-house radio host, Nick Tatham. Hello, Taki.
Hello, T. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back. I missed the Ruggers part. I was pretty bleak about that, but it looks like you guys got most of it covered there. But it's awesome to be back.
Unbelievable predictions we made in that rugby pod. I did predict that England would go 0-3 against Southern Hemisphere teams, so I was pretty chuffed with that one. And then we have another guest on the show today, first-time guest, 2-time winner on the Sunshine Tour, Luca Filippi. How's it, Luca? Welcome to the show.
How's it, guys? Yeah, awesome to be here, and let's chat some lacquer golf.
Gents, the golf in the Northern Hemisphere may be slowing down, but we are moving towards peak season golf here in SA. We have the PGA Champs this weekend at St. Francis Links. The Nedbank and Leopard Creek tournaments are not that far away. And then, of course, the much-anticipated SA Open at Durban Country Club in February isn't too far away either. So today we are going to be talking primarily Golfchamps. And we're going to be getting hopefully some inside tips from Luca, who on the tour himself. But before we get into that, guys, just a quick ad read. You guys all know about WonderPar by now, the free app that rewards you for simply playing golf. By spending time on the golf course, you earn Wonder tokens, which can be used to purchase golf offers and experiences. These offers include discount vouchers, entry into raffles and competitions. And new to the WonderPar store is some of the pre-played golf gear section. I was actually checking out some wedges on there last night, which I got my eye on. Members of our home courses being firstly Gowrie Farm and Cotswold Downs. As part of our partnership with WonderPar, they get a 1.5 times boost on those courses. So essentially anyone who plays on those courses, you will receive additional Wonder courtesy of the Go Track podcast. We plan on boosting more courses across the country as the Go Track membership grows. WonderPar, set foot on any golf course and watch your wallet grow. Luca, firstly, I just got to get this out the way. The only other pro that we've had on the podcast, he went on to win a tournament the following weekend. So there's a podcast bump waiting for you. Now I know you're currently dealing with an injury. But yeah, I just wanted to say, essentially, you get a win voucher by coming on the podcast. So that's courtesy of Taki.
Seems like a deal. I'm in for that. I don't know when it's going to be, when I'll be teeing up again, but I'm happy about that.
What's the sort of nature of the injury there, Luke? And I know you just said that you're not sure when you're going to be back, but do you have like a sort of general time frame?
Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of a background. So April. Obviously had a good season, was lying 5th at the time on the order of merit. And then we played at Limpopo and, the 11th hole in the pro, I hit a root in the ground, middle fairway. My club just got stuck and pulled the gap bridge like 40 meters left of the green. And I just felt my shoulder like go then. But obviously I had to carry on playing because I was lying 5th order merit, so I had to carry on going. And, then I was at a big car accident 2 weeks after that. Which was just a snowball effect. And here I am. I had surgery in September, a shoulder up on my left shoulder. And but before that, I was just rehab for 2 months because I went for MRI scans, nothing got picked up. And it was just like the doctor just said, I think it's a bit of a strain, let's just do some rehab. So I got cortisone injections, did bio, did physio, did weight cupping. I did everything under the sun, hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So I gave it the full go. And then, the Sunday night, I messaged my dad late and I said, listen, I can't carry on like this. This is too sore. So then went for a scope where they open up the shoulder and then obviously look what's inside. And they found cartilage that was chipped and they had to microfracture my shoulder, 4 holes. And, it's been sore, but I feel like I'm on the right path to getting back out there.
Sure. That's quite a journey to go through, and I'm sure a shoulder injury as a pro golfer has got to be one of the most debilitating and hardest to come back from. Luca, I wanted to just do a quick intro for our listeners. So, just kind of set the scene a little bit for us. Give us a little bit of your background, like where you're from, where did you start playing golf, and a little bit about your kind of like your amateur career before you turned professional.
Yeah, so I grew up in Cape Town. I went to Rondebosch Boys High School, and we lived luckily on a golf course on Milton Golf Club. So my dad used to take me out in the afternoons, hit some balls, and obviously fell in love with the game then. And then obviously I played all the school sports, but in grade 9 I decided to obviously focus on golf and take it further. And obviously my dad took me to all the events. I was luckily part of the Ernie House and Fancourt Foundation, which really helped with all the expenses. And then I played across the world. I played the Junior President's Cup in New York in 2017, played the Junior Players, the TPC. Luckily got to number 1 Auto Merit under 19, and then also got to number 1 Open Amateur as well. So that was cool. And then obviously that gives you a gateway to go play overseas in the British Am and the Lynx Trophy, all the big events, which obviously you get such good experience playing those events. And then, I decided to turn pro in COVID in 2020. And obviously only got to start that August. Wasn't the best of starts to my career. I didn't play awfully great the first few events, but luckily, I'm playing nicely now when I ended. So
that's a hell of a...
Sorry, how old were you when you turned pro?
So I was 21. So I was obviously matriculated and just gave the full amateur golf go for 3 years, and then decided to turn pro when I was 21.
You played some pretty cool courses already. You played some pretty cool events already. Just I just want to find out about those. What is it like sort of playing in that Junior President's Cup as well as at the Players? That must be incredible.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, we played in New York at Plainfield Country Club. They had the Barclays Championship there when Jason Day won a few years ago. It was such a cool week. I mean, you get to your locker room and you get the international bag, you get your blazer with all the stars on, you get 2 pairs of shoes, you get your balls, you get everything you can think of. Just like you have to pinch yourself, like, where am I? Like, this is insane, And then you go to the golf course, the greens are running at like 13 and it's so slick. There's ropes, there's crowds. And I remember I played with Jaden Shaper and Christo Lamprecht and Gary Kigo. That was our 4 in the team from SA. And we played foursomes with Christo, and I played better balls with Jaden. So that was cool. We shot 61 to square up our game against Akshay Bhatia, and I can't remember the other guy, but it was it was some cool times. Then my singles game, I played against a guy that's now on the PGA Tour, Jacob Bridgman, and our captain was Trevor Immerman, and he walked the back 9 with me in my singles game, and luckily I won my singles game 3-2. So that was pretty cool. You get to meet all the players. We got inside the rope tickets to the President's Cup. And I met Tiger Woods, which was my claim to fame. And then obviously you walk down the fairway with Justin Thomas and Ricky Fowler, and you're just like, dude, where am I? Like, this is insane,
It's amazing.
It was really cool. So that was such a cool trip. My dad was there, my uncle was there, so it was just awesome to spend some time with him there as well.
Sure, that's amazing. I remember I did an interview with Dale Hayes a bit earlier this year, and he was talking about when he played when he was like 19 years old. He played in the British Open. He qualified for the British Open, and he was surrounded by like Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus, and he just said he basically had exactly the same thing that you just said now. He was just like, where am I? He just couldn't believe that he was surrounded with these players, and like a generation later, it's a similar experience. I wanted to ask you, Lucas, something that's always that I've always been interested in, and is around. You mentioned you were playing with Gary Kigo, Christo Lamprecht, and Jaden Shaper. So all 3 of those players and yourself, there've been different journeys through, let's say, from when you finish high school to turning professional. What is the decision-making process that you go through as a South African golfer when you're entering that early amateur stage? Because I'd imagine there's potentially offers coming from maybe moving to the States and playing in their university system, like I know Christo and Gary Kigo have done. I see some guys, decide to stay local and they turn professional at a really, really young age. How do you work your way through that kind of landscape, and like maybe just explain how that's unraveled for you or worked out for you?
Yeah, so obviously you get the option of going overseas and playing for a college university. And I got a few offers, but I decided not to go, just mainly because I had such good backing here with the Ernie Els Foundation. And also the tough thing with college golf is you can go there, but the guys are so good that you might not even make the team some weeks, and then you don't get a chance to play, And that was, my dad and I obviously had a long chat about this, and we kind of weighed up the options. And the level of golf here is so good at the moment. Like the Sunshine Tour is so strong. So we just decided, play the amateur golf, go overseas, try and win the British Am, play in all the majors. Like that was the goal. Where you might not have that exposure if you're not making a team in the US, So obviously it's worked out for Christu and for Garrick, obviously, but there's different paths. Like Jaden also stayed here. He didn't go to college and he's doing okay, So it just depends on, firstly, your personality, what kind of personality you have, and can you be on your own? It's a tough thing to do when you're 18 years old and you have to fly far from home and you're going to be on your own for a couple of years. It definitely makes you grow, but it's difficult. Looking back, I think that was a 50-50 decision that maybe I might have wanted to do just to have that experience, but I don't look back and be like, I regret that. It's part of the journey. And Christy's playing unbelievable golf at the moment, and you've seen what the college life has done to him. So there's no real right answer when it comes to that, but yeah.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I was listening to an interview with Luke Gerling, and he was talking about his experience, that he had playing college golf. And I mean, he had a really negative experience over there in that, he unfortunately landed at a college where he had this really honestly what sounded like basically like a narcissist of a coach who basically tried to redo his whole golf swing. And now you're a million miles from home. You're putting your faith in this coach, and essentially just completely undid, his natural golf swing. And so I know Gary Kigo had a bit of a mixed experience over there in his 1 year, and just it's a long way from home. And I think it's one of the real, I suppose, almost initial disadvantages that South African and golfers from around the world have, in that they invariably, you guys have to travel to play at golf at the highest level, and that requires immediately being away from your support structures. So as you say, from the sounds of it, there is no wrong or right answer. It's just interesting to hear the different experiences that everyone has. Just briefly, Luca, I was looking on the Sunshine Tour. You obviously started off on your first season, I think, order of 21, 22. It says you finished 48th in the order of merit, and then gradually just got better and better. 21st in 22, 23, and then you were in the top 10 last season. Just explain, just for our listeners' sake, what finishing the top 10 of the Sunshine Tour Order of Merit, are there particular perks that gives you in terms of accessing other opportunities and other events?
Yeah, so first and foremost, if you finish top 50, you get into most of the European Tour events that come around, the 6 that we have. And I think that was crucial that first year. I hold a putt on the last green at Dainfern. I was 51 going into the week, and I hold a 4-meter putt to get into the top 50 to play Tour Champs. And then that obviously gives you a bit of a experience to go and play the big events that come around. And then finish 21st, and then last season obviously finished 10th. And that obviously that opens up a few doors to play the European Tour qualifying school. Which I would have done now this past week in Spain. Unfortunately, obviously, I'm injured. And then also gets you into the Alfred Daniel Links Championship in Scotland. There's massive rewards for finishing in the top 10. And obviously finishing top 3 is also even better. So, yeah.
Okay. And Luca, I mean, we touched on your injury now. It's obviously been a big setback for you. I suppose this is part of the journey of being a professional sportsman. How do you sort of, from a mindset perspective, how are you approaching kind of your rehab, and do you have any kind of horizon when we might see you teeing it up again?
Yeah, listen, it's definitely been the toughest part of my career so far. Just not from like a playing standpoint, but just mentally. From playing so well last year and having a good season to getting myself into the big events this year, not being able to play. That was kind of a stab in the heart, and that was obviously a tough pill to swallow. But yeah, it definitely gives you a different perspective on life and golf. I'm definitely a lot more hungry and more appreciative of when I play. So that's one thing I can take from this whole, the 6 months that I've been away from golf and being at home. But yeah, the rehab's been going well. I've been getting stronger. I've still got a lot of pain. Obviously with the shoulder being a very complex dynamic of the body. So yeah, hopefully latest by May next year I'll be able to tee it up. Hopefully before then, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try and rush it back, and I want to be ready by the time I get back. So that's the plan. Yeah, hopefully I can be out there playing again soon.
Do you keep sort of tabs on what's going on the tour? Are you following results weekly, or have you sort of tried to just step away from the game?
Yeah, I think the first bit, like when I was obviously injured and sitting in a sling for 3 weeks, I was almost angry. I was just a bit like, what, I want to be there. This is making me like a bit disappointed. So I didn't even open the app. I didn't even put it on TV. I just wanted to get that break away from golf. But I think now, like obviously, the more I'm missing it, the more I kind of want to see what's happening and send the guys a message when they do well and just be a part of it. And that's one of the reasons why I went to go commentate the other day at Sun City at the Blue Label. And that was a tough week for me, obviously being defending champion and walking there. And, a year ago you were driving into the gates with a 4-point lead, and now you're going there to go and commentate because you're injured, so that was difficult, but it also just gave me that extra bit of hunger to get back out there. So yeah, it's been tough, but we're getting there.
Well, listen, I think this might be a good segue into talking about the PGA Champs, Taki. But Luca, you mentioned you grew up playing golf at Middleton Golf Club. So, I mean, maybe describe a little bit how would you describe your game? I would imagine that you have a game which has had to adjust to the wind that you experience at that golf course, which I personally have had some fairly negative experiences with. Not the golf course, but the wind. It's an awesome property that Milnerton. But how would you describe your sort of your game growing up down in the Cape?
Yeah, so obviously, as you guys know, it's very windy in the Cape. So I don't hit it very long. I hit it. My strength is accuracy of the tee. So I'm definitely not the longest on tour, but I mean, I hit a baby draw. You kind of have to. You can't hit a high fade into the wind, else you're going to be playing from behind you. So yeah, I hit a baby draw, not very long. So obviously now me being moved up into Joburg, I'm trying to get some more length and trying to flight the ball a bit higher. To obviously stop on the greens, and that's why when the winter tournaments come around, I struggle a little bit because I'm so used to hitting that little draw, which doesn't easily bite on the green. So yeah, working hard on trying to get the launch up, and yeah, it's been a different perspective playing here because the altitude's obviously different, and those 40-meter pitches become 44-meter pitches. So that was tough to get used to, but I think I've got it now.
So it's taken you a bit of time to adjust to.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. It definitely has, yeah. But yeah, it's lacquered to play without wind. Well, most of the time you play here without wind, so that's been nice. I mean, often I practiced and I had to be out there from 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning because the wind used to pump after that, So here you got basically the whole day to go and practice, and it's just so much better for my game as well.
You know what, Luca? You know what I really love is so obviously we are based in KZN, so we play a lot of our golf on the coast here, and look, we have wind. It's not necessarily always as strong as you get down in the Cape, but you deal with the wind here. And what I love is when my friends, they all want to come down from Joburg and do a KZN golf tour. It's just get out of Joburg, bit of sunshine, whatever.
Yeah.
And you just see these guys get exposed in the wind. It's just a beautiful thing. They come down. They're used to just hitting the ball like straight up in the air. With all the spin. And
Yeah.
you just see guys getting exposed. It's a lovely thing to watch. I've got to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I think it's a lot easier if you've grown up in the wind, and then taken the leap to playing without wind, rather than going from no wind to a hurricane. And
Yeah,
that's when I see the wind blowing on tour. I've got that a bit of an edge. I feel like I've got a bit of an
yeah,
edge on the guys. Like this is me now. This is where my element is. So
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely helped in my career so far.
So that's a
What made
great.
you? Sorry, T. What made you move to Joburg? What was the thought process behind that?
Two reasons. I've got a fiance up here that lives up here, so it was spending
One
some more
reason.
time with
That's
her.
Okay,
it's only one reason.
you only need that reason. Yeah.
And then obviously the second reason is obviously just the traveling for the Sunshine Tour. It's just everything's based up here. Obviously it's a lot easier to practice, and my game just got better staying up here. So those were basically the two main reasons.
So talking about wind, I think this is a good chance to segue into the tournament that's happening this week at St. Francis Links. So guys, as listeners, as you know, the Golfchamps are running, have now started supporting local Sunshine Tour events. And the beautiful thing about the adjustment they've made to the Golfchamps system is that they now rank the field from 1 to essentially 150, however many players in the field. So we're no longer dealing with the OWGR, which, as we know, has had some issues around how legitimate it is, and also it makes the essence of golf champs. It retains that essence in that you're trying to pick 4 players to get to 100. So essentially, they adjust the rankings down from 1 to 150. So that's the one great change they've made. And then I think the second is introducing this order of merit. So Taki, I did a bit of homework and I got Michael to send me the current Courier Guy Order of Merit. So, guys, essentially, this is a year-long campaign to find the best, most consistent golf champs picks. The winner will go on, the first prize is a getaway to the Heritage Resorts in Mauritius, all-inclusive golf trip. Not bad. If you come runner-up, it's a full set of Strix and irons, including your fitting. And there's a couple of other prizes as you fit further down the line. The way it works, guys, is it takes into account your 4 best tournaments on Golfchamps. So this is quite an important detail. So if you've had a couple of shockers like Hoff, many shockers like Hoff, then you don't need to worry because you need to enter every week because all you got to do is have four good ones. You're going to throw out the bad ones. Okay. So in order to qualify, you need to have entered at least 5 tournaments. And as far as I am aware, the Sunshine Tour Order of Merit is ending with the Mauritian Open. So essentially, guys, we have 4 tournaments left. So if you enter today, well, look, you would have to have done at least one other tournament, but you could, your 4 lowest tournaments could be ahead of you. This is my point, guys. So we have St. Francis Links, we have the Nedbank Golf Challenge, we have the Alfred Dunhill, and then we have the Mauritian Open. Okay. So Taki, I know you wanted to ask Luca maybe some questions around St. Francis Links, maybe some of his experience there and a little bit about that course.
Yeah, we wanted to touch on St. Francis, Luca, because obviously it's it's an absolute pristine location for golf. What are your sort of memories about it? What are your takeaways when you get there? What are you sort of looking forward to? What are you not looking forward to when you get down there?
Yeah, I mean, St. Francis is one of our best courses that we have. I mean, just the condition of the course always at PGA is just, I mean, you got those rows in the fairway and it's just always looking unreal. And I've got some good memories from St. Francis. I won my first junior tournament there, and then
Amazing.
I was in the leading group for the PGA Champs a couple of years ago as well. So that was cool. It's a great test. I mean, you have to get a bit lucky with the draw. I mean, the weather doesn't always play in your favor there. And obviously, if you come in there with demons off the tee, you may as well just pack it up and leave. It's such a good test. It tests all parts of your game. I wish I could be there. And the guys are gonna enjoy it this week. The course looks great.
Well, it's the links layout. Links, I use inverted commas as well. But like for you, does it fit your game nicely? Obviously you're playing wind a lot. It's sort of close to the coast. Do you feel like it's you quite at home when you're there?
Yeah, I mean it's not overly long. It's not a bomber's golf course. So if you can hit it nicely off a tee, and if you can figure out the greens, I think the greens are the toughest parts of the course because they got so much grain on. It's actually very similar to Serengeti here. So I mean if you can get get to terms of putting there, and the different types of slopes, because it's tough to read a right to left slope with left to right grain. And I think that's the guy that's going to win is the guy that's going to be hitting the most fairways and putting the best. So yeah, I mean, it definitely helps a shorter hitter that's accurate off the tee.
Luca, just briefly, and this is showing completely my ignorance on on the PGA Champs, but is there a similar aspect to the local PGA in that the way they have the PGA in the States, the major, where it's an opportunity for some, let's say, PGA members, local PGA members, to play in the tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty similar. You saw what Michael Block did at the PGA Champs, I think it was last year, the year before. And that was a good story. But yeah, I mean, it gives the PGA guys a bit of a chance to compete in a big event. And I think it's great. I'm not sure how many spots they give out. I think they might give out 10 spots to the guys. And I think it's, some of the PGA Tour or PGA pros also want to make it at some point, and to give them a bit of a glimpse of how the life on tour, it's a good week for them and it's an opportunity. So I think it's really cool of the tour to give out those spots.
I think Taki, those guys are easy to identify on the. I'm just looking on the Golfchamps website because they're the ones without a photograph associated with them.
Yeah, I think remember we had a go. We did have a word with the Golfchamps guys in the one pod quite a while ago about the photographs, and it seems going through them at this stage, it looks like they're pretty up to date. Given that we had photos, the Casey Jarvis picture has definitely been updated for you.
That was the best, yeah. I think that picture of him was when he was about 13. So yeah, I see.
It probably was 2 years ago, though.
Yeah, I see. His photo has been updated. So okay, so Luca, so interesting what you're saying there. We're obviously looking for some guys. There's a few combinations here. We're looking for guys who maybe are comfortable playing in the wind. As you said, that's part and parcel of this championship. There's the draw aspects. I mean, I know last year I think they had some horrific weather and rain at the links, and you've got to be adaptable and be able to roll with, I guess, the punches when it comes to that. And then obviously a good putter as well. So this is where we may have to lean on you a little bit here. And I know you've got lots of mates on the Sunshine Tour, Luca, but you're going to have to give us some objective opinions here. I'm sure your mates won't feel bad if you don't mention them.
Okay.
But maybe just sort of looking at recent form and combining that with some guys who are historically reasonably good in the wind. Anyone in particular who stands out to you? Maybe you could mention like 3 or 4 guys who you think will fare well this weekend. Yeah,
so I think my number one pick has to be Donnie van Tonder. I think the form that he's in is unreal, and obviously his shape that he hits for the golf course is going to be perfect. I mean, he hits a baby draw. He actually slings it quite hard from right to left. And when he gets the putter hot, he's dangerous. So he's definitely my number one pick. And then my number 2 pick is on invite this week. I know you guys are going to know him, but he's Casey Jarvis. I think he's also got a sneaky chance with the form that he's been in over in Europe. So I think he's got a chance to win. And also number 3 will be, I don't know if this adds up to 100, but Rupert Kaminsky, I think defending champion. He knows how to play in the conditions. And he's also a good pick. And then my last pick will be Samuel Simpson. He's a wild card pick. I think he's sneaky underrated. He's been playing such great golf the recent few weeks. And he hits the ball really straight. So I think he's got an outside chance. He just came off the top 10, and he's got some confidence as well. And he's obviously born in Cape, so he knows.
Okay. So we've got up to 72 there with your 4 picks. So
okay,
you pick the top 2. 1 and 2. You've got 1 and 2, and then you've got 22 with Kaminsky, and you've got 47 with Samuel Simpson. So how are you going to make it up to 100 there?
I would throw in. Does Lyle Rowe? Does he add up to 100?
He's 18.
So you'll have to drop either Donnie or Casey.
Okay, I'll drop Casey. Sorry, Casey. Apologize, bro.
See ya.
No, we still only on 88.
Okay,
So
you know
we
what?
need.
Instead of Lara, I'll throw in Rourke van der Spey. I think he's got an outside chance.
Let's see.
He's
Rourke van der
definitely, I think he's always been in better form, but he knows how to play in the wind and he knows how to ground out a golf course. So I'll definitely throw in Rourke over there.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, okay, so we're well into the hundreds here. 133 with
Jeez,
Rourke. So
okay, no.
he's 63rd, eh?
Okay.
But that's, you know what, Taki, this is the type of info we needed from Luca, because as we know, it's not about getting to 100. It's just about having the four best players for that particular weekend. I wanted to ask you, Luca, Dylan Mostert, I know he won last year at Humewood. They were playing in, I think it was at Humewood. They were playing in very, very windy conditions as well. I mean, he strikes me. I also saw him playing this year at Glendower when we were on site for that tournament. And yeah, I was just really impressed with his ball striking. I mean, he strikes me as a player who seems pretty comfortable in the wind as well.
Yeah, I mean, he can shape it both ways. I think he's also very underrated, and that's why he won that week in PE. I mean, the wind was pumping. I was there. The flags were almost blowing out of the holes. It was so strong. So, yeah, he's definitely a good pick. I mean, he hasn't played the greatest over the last couple of months, but he knows how to play in the wind, which is a big thing when it comes to the PGA Champs. So, yeah, good pick. Very good pick.
So do you guys sort of chat a lot about each other's games, or do you sort of pick up on other people's games when you play with them or when you see them on the range, or sort of how does it work?
Obviously, you play with a lot of the guys, over the times that you're on the tour. So you kind of learn everyone's game. You see what they do well and see what they lack in a little bit. So, I mean, you kind of like I try and take everyone's bits and pieces of everyone's game to try and obviously help my game. So I think we all learn off each other, and yeah. It's I don't really analyze everyone's game after the round and have a notebook out with a mind map, but yeah, I kind of just take bits and pieces of everyone's swing and game.
Taki, I just wanted to look. There's probably one or two other names that we're missing here. I know Neil Skittycat. He's also been in pretty consistent form this year. Oliver Becker played pretty well last weekend down in Obi. So yeah, guys, there's I think it's worth looking at form, particularly the guys were playing in coastal conditions last week at Obi. I don't think it was extreme wind, but certainly you can use maybe the leaderboard at from last weekend to maybe guide some of your picks as well. But Taki, just briefly, Michael sent me the full order of merit, and he asked me if I could just and sorry, Luca, this is not the Sunshine Tour order of merit. This is far more important. This is the Golfchamps order of merit. So he asked me to shout out the top 5 at the moment. So at number 5 we have Luan from Meerland. He actually won our Go Track pool a couple of weeks ago. Still due some Go Track merchandise, so he's been very patient waiting for us.
Okay.
Jordan Gillum Law, number 4, number 3 Spencer Botton, number 2 James Milne, and currently a number 1 at minus 239 is Thomas Dobbins. So he's got
he must have some sort of algorithm or something set up.
He's got an 11 shot lead, but you know what? That can change pretty quickly with somebody else coming in there. The way that they've set this up. Taki, out of interest, I went and looked up where the Go Track participants are sitting. So I'm going to run you down those. So keeping in mind that there's only 3,500 participants on this order of merit, okay? That's where they've done the cutoff of the list. Yeah, okay. That's where Michael's cut the list off, I think.
As long as I'm above half.
Carl Hoffman is sitting in place 3,361. I mean... He is almost on the bottom. So, Luca, that's one of our co-hosts of the podcast. So, shout out Hoff. JDV sitting in 1,234. Teabag sitting 1,023. And Taki, you are winning on the Go Track order of merit. You're sitting at 900. So, you're in the top 1,000.
900.
So well done, bud.
Okay.
So I think we're going to.
I've got my picks. I've got my picks for this week already. Luke
All
has
right,
given me my
let's
picks,
hear them.
so I've got them.
Oh.
Samuel Simpson, Rupert Kaminsky, Daniel van Tonder, and Rob van der Spey. I haven't entered them in just yet though.
But you're going to leapfrog up to 899, I promise you.
There we go. That's all I need.
So the question is, do we publish this podcast before or after the tournament starts? Because otherwise you're going to have a few other people with those picks possibly as well. We can chat about that offline.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That you don't want to give away secrets too early.
It may not be in the interest of the Sunshine Tour on that. But guys and Luca, really thank you so much for your time, and it was great to like get to know a little bit about you and like hear about your experiences. And I mean, we wish you all the best with your recovery. It really sounds like a hell of a process, and I hope you stay mentally tough. I'm sure it's it's easier said than done, but I'm sure being surrounded by sounds like you've got a good team, and we really look forward to bumping into you in person. It would be great at an event sometime next year. But all the best for that recovery, and we really look forward to seeing you out there. I think Taki would be remiss if we didn't mention some of the sort of standout golf performances from South Africans over the last sort of 2 weeks. I think we have to shout out Tristan Lawrence for finishing. I think he ended up third on the DP World Tour Order of Merit. Obviously, that comes with the PGA Tour card. Interesting, Luca. Do you think that will be something that he would automatically take up?
Yeah, for sure. You heard how gutted he was after last year missing. I think he missed out by one spot for the PGA Tour card. So I think he'll take that open arms. I think he'll do great over there. His game travels. I mean, he's a good player. He's unreal. So I think he'll take that, take it with two arms and go.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's great for us. He's had a great performance this year in the Open, and then Taki. We also had the Q School last week, the DP World Tour Q School, and. Sure, I got to pull up here, but we had Wilco Ninaba did great in that. I mean, yes, that's got to be brutal, Luca. That have you ever played in Q School? I mean, the final stage of Q School is 6 rounds. That's got to be tough. That's a lot of golf.
Yeah, flip. I mean, it's I actually spoke to him. He was on the flight back from Spain, and I sent him a message saying, obviously, well done and all the rest of it. And him and his caddy obviously split, and he had his dad on the bag for that week, which was obviously extra special. I mean, your dad being on the bag, you shooting 8 under to get your card by one shot. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And I said to him, listen, bro, if you don't have a caddy for the Daniel and Mauritius, you must just let me know. I'll be there. I mean, I'm super, super happy for him. He's been on and off European Tour back here challenge. So I think that all needed to happen. He's going to have a big year on the European Tour next year.
So who else do we get in there? Justin Harding?
Yeah, and then Justin Harding. Justin Harding qualified as well. I was actually following the guys in that final round, and I can't imagine how much pressure those players must be under. I mean, there was a hell of a lot going on to get those top 20 places, and evidently the golf course was set up a little bit easier. And there were a few guys making eagle, and that's on the last hole to like vault up, and it must be incredibly nerve-wracking. Justin Harding looked like he had a bit of a tough final day, but he hung in there and got his card as well. So look, a few others who missed out. Obviously Taki Jono Broomhead being one of them. But I'm sure lots of lessons learned, and I know he does play or get into a lot of the local DP World Tour events as well. So and then also just wanted to shout out Garrick Hego. He's had a tough year, but he's had 2 pretty good weeks now on the PGA Tour swing. I think he had a top 20 this last weekend. I wanted to shout out him. We're a big fan of his here, and hopefully he's going to find some more consistency and form over there in the States.
Yeah, just such a player. Look, you obviously know him fairly well. When he won that first event on the PGA Tour, like sort of first out of the gate, like were you surprised? Do you think that this guy's made it?
Um, Not really. He had so much success in the European Tour. I think he won twice on the European Tour before that victory. And yeah, it was a funny story. I mean, he wasn't actually supposed to play that week on the PGA Tour. They actually sent an invite to someone else, and Gary got it. I don't know exactly the whole thing about that week, but yeah, he wasn't supposed to be there, and then he ended up winning. So yeah, pretty cool story to tell your kids one day,
Yeah.
And I think it's been difficult. He stays out there now. He's far from home. He's been moving with coaches quite a few times. He had his coach Cliff Barnard in Plet, and then he moved to Claude Harmon, and now he's with Sean Foley. So he's been, yeah, I think it's been an adjustment. Obviously, being there far from home, being away from your local coach, and trying to adapt to that life. And all of a sudden, you're playing practice rounds with Dustin Johnson for the Masters. It's a bit of a step up. So yeah, I wish him all the best. I think the RSM this week is, if I'm not mistaken, his last chance to keep his card. I think 125 keep card, and I think he's 138 at the moment. But he's come off, like you said, he came off some good weeks the last couple of weeks. So hopefully he can take that form going forward and yeah, come in clutch like he always does.
It looks like he's been grinding for quite a while. Like I see him on Instagram, a lot of like swing aids and all that sort of thing. So do you think he's changing quite a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs on what he's trying to work on, but his swing has definitely changed over the last few years. He used to have a bit of a longer swing, more of a hip turn, and he had lots of power. Now he's a bit shorter and a bit more flat. So I'm not sure what he's working on, but yeah, it definitely has changed a little bit over the last couple of years. So I don't know if that's for some more consistency in the swing. I'm not sure, but yeah.
And then lastly, Taki, I wanted to shout out Christo Lamprecht, who has turned pro now and made his first cut as a professional, if I'm not mistaken, last weekend as well in Bermuda. It looked like the wind was pumping there. I mean, some guys were saying it was almost unplayable. And yeah, he went 73, 67, 66, 69, which is pretty solid for like a top 25. So yeah, excited to see what he produces. Guys, with that, Luca, once again, thank you very much for your insights. Love to have you on the podcast again sometime. Maybe keep your mind off all that rehab that you're doing. But no, honestly, yeah, we wish you the best, and thanks for your time, Taki. Thanks for calling in from what does look like a bit of a dungeon that you're in. Yeah, but
thanks, guys.
Nice to touch base. And guys, we will be back next week with some more golf and golf adjacent content. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was awesome to be part of the podcast, and hopefully see you guys soon.